Well, hello, and welcome back to the website series of videos, and we're working on the Coffee Cup Photo Gallery, or working with the Coffee Cup Photo Gallery software. In the last video, we looked at bringing, or what all these options are in the gallery settings and item settings, and then flipped over to the albums and looked at how the albums function. And today we're going to actually bring in a new album to an existing album, or bring in a new gallery album to a new gallery. So let me cancel out of that. So here we need to open up our gallery, and the gallery we're going to work on, same one we worked on last time, is the kitchen gallery. So you'll browse to your folder that you're keeping your website in, and for most of you that will be under My Document, and then it'll be My Website. In my case, I've got My Websites plural because I manage several websites, but under your My Documents folder you should have if I created it for you, a My Website folder, and then in that you probably have a folder that is named some abbreviated version of your website. And within that folder you'll see all the galleries that your website contains. A folder for those galleries, which is where the pictures for those galleries reside, and then the XML file that is the gallery itself. So we're going to go in here to the kitchen gallery. That's the one we're working with, and as I promised last time, we're going to actually bring in a new gallery and do what is required to get that ready to upload to our website. And this is going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to pause while this loads. Okay, our gallery has loaded and all the albums in the gallery. Here we basically see a representation of what we'll see on our web page where our gallery resides. But if we go to the albums, we actually see the albums contained in that gallery. And here we have all these are kitchens, because this is obviously the kitchen gallery. And in our last video we added this Rowan kitchen. But basically we were going through the options over here, and these options for the galleries and the albums are going to be set at whatever you used last. So once you get comfortable with it and you like your settings, then every time you start to add a new gallery or a new album, your settings will be set for you unless you want to edit them. There's several types of or approaches to this. In this first album within this gallery, we have the Anderson remodel before and after. In the second, we have the Anderson kitchen. The pictures are of the same kitchen, but in this case we're showing a before and after view of this kitchen. So when we look down here at the pictures, this picture here is a picture of this kitchen on that wall before, and then after, before and after. So when we click on these pictures, we see that these photo captions are, this is an after 5, and this is the after or before 6, and then after 6. So the terminology used in the photo caption would be specific to the item, and how you get the photos may be specific to the photo gallery. If we were creating an album that was specific to accessories, like pull-out trash and spice racks and things like that, we would probably add those one picture at a time. You could go gather all those pictures up and put them in a folder, but it would probably be just as quickly to gather them from your individual folders into an album. But what we're going to do now is add another kitchen like we did here. The Rowan kitchen was added last time. This time we're going to add a new kitchen. So here we have the option to add a new album, and throws the album in very quickly. And then here we want to add a description, and in this case this is going to be, for me, I like to use if it's a spec, I use the builder's name and then the lot number, or if it's an individual I may use the homeowner's name, or if it was a spec that a builder built and it became a custom in the middle, I may use the builder's name and the homeowner's name, but I want to be able to identify that project later on. And then here we're going to put what type of kitchen this is, and in this case I'm going to call this a shaker cherry kitchen, and that's going to be our description for this one. And now we're ready to add pictures, and we've got several options. We can come down here to the add a photo here, or we can add photos up here. It takes us to the same place. And if we wanted to, we literally could go in there one picture at a time, go to add photos, and then go and pick a picture, any one picture, and add that picture. But ideally, it would be easier to add the whole folder. So this methodology is seeking a picture, but what we're going to do is go back to that same option. Let this think through that process here. And we're going to add a whole folder a little quicker. So I'm going to go to My Documents and scroll down to My Pictures. And I'm going to go to my cabinet pictures. And then I'm going to scroll down to the radius. And I've already prepared these pictures. We talked about that in another video. And I'm picking that folder, and that's going to bring in all the pictures in that entire folder. And while that's working, I'm going to pause it until all those pictures are in, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about how that works. Okay, I'm picking back up here just before it finishes, so you can see this is what you would expect to see is a loading images dialog box here. And this loading images dialog box is telling you as it's which image it's loading, and tells you how many there are and where it's at. So that's nice to have a running tally of where you're at and how long you're going to have to wait. And I've loaded all of the images in this folder, but I may not want all the images in this folder on my website, so I can go through and delete out any images that I don't think are appropriate for my clients to see, but it may have been something that I wanted, a photo that I needed for illustrative purposes to the man in my shop, or just for my own future reference. So I'm going to come back, kind of look through here, and again we'll organize them. We looked at that in the last video. Since these are all real close-up shots of just individual features, I want to pull this one that is a picture of the kitchen up here with the full pictures. And obviously we have several shots through here that are either very, very similar or the same. And I think I just really want two shots from different perspectives. So this obviously is the best shot. This picture here is obviously not a good picture, so I'm going to delete that out right away. Way too dark. And I've got a picture here that's from one perspective and a picture here that's from the other, so I probably don't need any of these four. But I'm going to save. No, really I don't need any of those four, so I'm going to take those out. And then the close-ups will kind of be shots that you may or may not want to show. I'm going to move these over because I want to have all the shots of the cabinetry first before I have little close-ups that may show details that someone may be interested in. And some of those details are important. So I've kind of rotated around the room here. Actually, I want to have those full full shots first. And then kind of have different shots around the room, and then the close-ups. But it can be in any order you want. Now the question is, are there any of these close-ups that I don't think are appropriate that I need? Right now I don't think any of these here. These were photos that I took to just maybe illustrate to guys in the shop how we might do something, or to another cabinet maker how we might do something. So these are just not necessary for this gallery to be effective for the homeowner, or for a homeowner to see. So now we've got our pictures in here, and we need to, for each one of these pictures, have a caption. So we need to come over here to the picture number 1, and we can either type in a caption, but the danger of just typing in a caption is that you don't have, if you can't remember the exact structure of how you've structured other albums within the gallery, it may not be as useful to someone. So basically we can just pick any previous kitchen, and the first picture always has everything about that particular job. And so you see here the structure of that, and I'm going to copy that and then just come down here to this first picture and paste that in, and then correct it. So in this case, this door, instead of being a Northern Contours door, is a TW-10, and that's how it would show on our selection gallery if the client wanted to try to pick a door. TW-10. And then, as a matter of fact, I'm going to pop out of that. I'm going to delete that because that one didn't have, it was a different style door than all the others, and be easier if I have a job that has a Conestoga door. So let me go up here to one that has a Conestoga door and grab that structure. That will be more useful. Come down here, pick my first picture, paste that in, and now we, instead of having a CRP10, we have a TW10, and our panel profile is insert, and then it's just a panel, it's not really a profile. And then the framing profile for this particular job was square, because it's a shaker style door, and the edge detail is a L034, like that, and then the finish was ginger, and there was no glaze, so I just need to back that out. Ginger on cherry. But by copying in this description from an existing album, I've got the structure the same. So if a client is browsing through my albums and they're trying to make selections on the selection gallery or make notes about what they want to enter into the selection gallery, these are in the same order for every kitchen they look at, so that's helpful to them. So I'm going to take this and copy it, and then I'm just going to copy this to every picture. That's not always the case. At times you may want to take some of these later pictures that are all the same type cabinetry and maybe point out something. Maybe you want to put in the description here what model this molding that you've focused in on is, or something like that, some feature about the cabinetry. But in this case, just to save time, we're going to do that. And once that's done, we're ready to say we're done. And to save it, we've got our album title, our album description, and we've got a photo caption for each photo, and we have all of our photos in, and we have them in the order we want them. So we're done. And we're ready to save this album. And or this gallery, and this gallery is still the same name. We're not changing the name, we just added an album to it. So it's going to obviously ask us, are we sure we want to save over the existing one? And we'll say yes, we do want to replace it. And now we get a dialog box and several options here. I don't recommend you use this file upload. It is possible. You can go in and configure the Photoshop gallery software to upload these extra files that are part of this gallery. But since they can't deal with this bit of code here that has to be dealt with, then there's really no point in uploading these files from here, because the HTML file that makes up the page is going to have to be uploaded anyway. So we're going to do that in a separate piece of software, and that's my recommendation to everyone. You can do what you want, but that's my recommendation. So the first thing you need to do is ignore this side of the screen, since we're not going to use this software to upload with, but we definitely need this bit of code to go into the HTML page that we want this gallery to live on. And there's several ways of doing that. You could click up here and go all the way down to the bottom and right click and say copy. You could also just click on this field and say select all and then right click and copy. Or you could right click on this page and say select all and then copy to clipboard. They all do the same thing, and that's the objective in getting this photo gallery ready to go up to the website to be uploaded, is to get this bit of code to that page that makes up your website. And in there we're going to have to use one of several different pieces of software. This is another piece of coffee cup software. A lot of you have been using their FTP software to do this, but this software has a lot larger viewing screen when you're editing files, so I'm starting to recommend to people to use the HTML editor instead, because you can upload with it. You can do the FTP part with it, but you can also see what you're working on. So I'm going to come up here to My Documents. I'm just going to browse to our website, and then I'm going to scroll down to My Websites. Click on that. And now I'm going to click on my True32 custom cabinetry website to get to that folder. And we need to edit a file called Kitchen Gallery HTML. And the easiest way to spot that, and several of the older sites might be a little harder to actually, these are in alphabetical order. These files that have the hyphen in them and have capitalized letters utilized, these are part of the Kitchen Gallery files that are created by the photo gallery software. But we have a page on our website that is called Kitchen Gallery that we need to add that bit of code to. And to differentiate between the files that are part of the photo gallery software and the file that is part of our website, I've just changed the name just enough where you know what it is, but you know that we don't need to mess with the ones with the hyphen in them. We need to mess with the one that doesn't, and it's all lowercase. And so we want to double click that file, and now we see that page over here in the code editor. I'd recommend you not use the visual editor. It changes how everything works, and it is independent of the code editor. This is not like Macromedia software. These two, the visual editor and the code editor, are independent systems, and they treat the code differently. So you want to be very careful about utilizing the visual editor. Again, I recommend you use only the code editor. So let's scroll down, and basically what we're looking for is the bit of code that we copied. And if we look at this, we can start seeing things we recognize here. Here's our navigation on this page, Kitchen Gallery. There's Home, About Us, True32 System, Process. And if you scroll down, what we're looking for is this bit of code right here that starts with the word object and ends with the word object. And this is our Flash object. They call them Swift files. You see there's the Kitchen Gallery Swift file. That's one of the 4 files that the software would have uploaded had we let it, but we're going to do it with this software. So we want to just take this bit of code right here, starting with object and ending with object, and make absolutely certain that we've got all the little characters, the opening caret and the closing caret, everything that was part of that code highlighted. And then we can probably not, yep, we can right click and paste. In their FTP software you can't do that. And so now this code, this is ready to be uploaded to our website. So I'm going to stop the video here and start another video on the FTP process, because we're going to set up the FTP software so you can see how to do that, and that'll take a little while, so we want to do that separately. So we've edited the photo gallery, added a new album to our gallery, and we've given it an appropriate, the album itself an appropriate name, and we've given captions for each of the photos, and then we saved the gallery with the new album in it, and we've captured this bit of code that has to go on the page that lives on our website called Kitchen Gallery, and we've pasted that code here over the top of the original code that for that particular page. And the only other thing we'd have to do now is save it, and again I'm going to do that on the next video. So look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks for watching this one.